are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I had a birthday party last night. I'm hurting this morning.
That's funny. Thanks for making it. I appreciate it. Would love to start with just the SparkNotes version of your background.
I got an accounting degree. I was in public accounting. Then I made my way up to basically controller of real estate companies. I thought I found my niche. This is what I was going to do. There's a lot of opportunity for me, especially as a female in real estate. And I really enjoyed the companies I worked for, the people I worked with, the cool buildings we were building. But the accounting side of it was always like the bottom of my love to list. I loved talking with people. I love problem solving, all of that. A lot of things that I was presented with in my role, but not necessarily the core function of my role.
Yep.
I was married to work that I didn't love. And so I talked to my boss at the end of last year and I said, I don't know my why for why I'm here, why I'm doing this work. I've been doing a lot of writing, a lot of exploration, and I know I have a lot of passion and talent, and I wanted to put that to good use. And I thought I narrowed it down. I wanted to be in service, whether that be in the nonprofit world or potentially hospitality. It's where I saw myself, where I love and people building relationships, helping others. I wanted a more operational role. I definitely was intentional about the next step. But I took a chance and I'm now with a foundation. So totally different world
Yeah.
than what I was doing before. But my skill set definitely transferred. I am overseeing the grant process and helping build the processes, oversee compliance, yada, 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 for grants. So a lot has changed in the 4 weeks I've been there. I'm glad I took the leap and tried it. I don't want to continue down that path if I don't think that's really where my passions and future lie. So in some ways I'm back at square one, but I do think it's important that I'm intentional about my next step and where I take my career, especially given that I'm pivoting and I'm not staying in real estate, in finance and accounting. So I am just
No, I think this is great. Let me just say a couple things. First, not to make it about me, but these are exactly the types of conversations I want to have. And
great.
you are somebody who is trying to be so intentional about how they spend their time, and you're trying and you're learning and you're going back, and you are it. Like, you're killing it. I do not think you're going back to square one. You were at square one when you were at your last job. You were at square two or whatever it's called when you left. Square three when you took this other job to try it. That didn't work. Now you're on to square four. I think you're moving forward. I wonder if we were to zoom out and be like, okay, what is something that we might not necessarily be able to solve in the next few weeks or months, but what is 2033 for to look like? If you had a magic wand and whatever you set out to do, you'd be successful. Is there something that you can kind of imagine? What is
Which
it?
is my fiance and I would love to have our own venue, not here, but we'd like to be in Idaho, in a mountain town with like cabins and have the whole like we'd like a cafe. We want to have lodging for people. We want to have the whole compound. That is a dream, and I, being a little bit more realistic, worry: am I romanticizing that big dream? Can it be what 2033 looks like?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely can. I feel like the thing that you're getting at when you say, am I romanticizing this? The way that I like to think about it is, have you done the work to figure out what's hard about this? Because we can all picture out what would be cool about it and what would be enjoyable and fulfilling about it. But what is the part that really fucking sucks? And can you sign up for that part and maybe even enjoy that part if you're really lucky? Because that's when you get down into reality. And the good thing is, this concept of having a mini resort or whatever you want to call it, I'm sure there's hundreds of them. Maybe they're not all in Idaho, maybe they're throughout the country, but I'm sure there are people you can talk to who are 10 years ahead of you, 5 years ahead of you, and you can say, hey, I'm you from 5 or 10 years ago. I think it would be amazing to do what you're doing. You are my career role model. Could I buy you a coffee? Could I pay you for your hourly rate, whatever, and get on a Zoom call and just learn about this work? Because I want to make sure before I invest our life savings into this venture, it maps to what my fiance and I think it will be like. And I want to know what's hard about it. And I want to know what is rewarding about it. Is it what I think is rewarding about it? And don't just have one of those conversations. If you have somewhere between 1 and 10 of them, the more the better. You can start to get patterns, and people will say, somebody will be way out there with what's hard about it, but 3 or 4 people will say the exact same thing, and you can start to trust that. And then you can say, is that something that I can sign up for? And then you're not romanticizing it. You know what the challenges are, what the risks are. I don't know if you follow those folks on Instagram or not, but I'm sure they're out there. And I'm wondering, like, in the next 5 years, if you can enter this research phase of figuring out what's hard about it, and then also, how much capital do I need to get this thing off the ground? How much can be financed? How much cash do I need? Like, all these financial questions that I'm sure you've already thought about a million times. Have you had any of those conversations? Do you know those people? What does that make you think?
No, that's a great step. And I live in my head, so I think I have to solve for it on my own. That makes perfect sense. I have a book. Someone got me like a B&B book, and it's all these stories of people's challenges and lessons they've learned through starting a B&B.
Wonderful.
So that's probably the closest I've gotten to it, but not actually talking to folks and saying, what's the hardest thing about being in this world?
And what would you tell your younger sibling who is about to do this exact same thing? Mm-hmm. They're going to be like, because we're about to have a kid, and everybody's got oh man, if only I knew going into our first kid. And I'm like, I'm writing that down. You know what I mean? And everybody's got that. If you reach out to 20 people, you're not going to get 20 yeses, but who cares? You're going to get 10. And that's just going to be so freaking valuable in helping you understand the opportunity, understanding the risk, and like grokking if you are romanticizing it or not. And then if you do say, yes, that is, what's your fiance's name? That is what and I want to do, then it's okay. Now we're playing a different game. Now we're like thinking, okay, we need to have X amount of dollars to do this. And maybe you have it right now, maybe you're 5 years away. Now we're optimizing for that. And you can also start to reframe your current job, because now it's not this thing that's like needs to be this ultimate fulfilling exercise right now. Now it's this fundraising vehicle for the dream. And I get goosebumps just thinking about it, about how you're using this job, and you still want it to be enjoyable as possible. There's a million jobs out there. There's no reason why you can't enjoy it and make some decent money doing it. But you can frame it in a way where this is helping me live this dream that we're working towards.
And you know the why, because it leads to.
That's your why then, too. Exactly. Because you're like, what? Because I saw your eyes light up when I was like, do you know what like the tenure thing would be? And you're like, yeah.
I have a vision of it. But what if folks tell me, what if people are like, don't do it. I
would make sure that you have like more than one person say that, and then maybe you don't do it. But I bet there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, it's pretty fucking great out here in Idaho. And they'll be like, you might find out that they'll be like, my dad worked on Wall Street, so he wrote me this nice $2 million check, and that's why I was able to do it. And maybe that happens over and over again, and you're like, okay, maybe this isn't for us. But like, you'll just start to recognize those patterns, and you'll also see how you'll find the people who map to what you're trying to do and who map to where your square one is, if you will, and you'll see how they built their business. If you had perfect information on the world, if you had this gigantic brain that knew everything, you would have a very clear to-do list of what you need to do to literally make that happen and be perfect. The problem is you don't have perfect information. So you can do trial and error, or you can do a real shortcut of talking to people who are ahead of you. People are generous, people are supportive, people are excited for you. They see their younger selves in you, and they're willing to help you. You build relationships with these folks, and they might be lifelong friends. Like, that is the number one thing I would offer on this call. Call these people and see what they have to say, and it might get you, it'll make you excited, but it will definitely get you educated.